those council members that are not present.
Oh, okay, yes. Could I get a motion to excuse Mr. Ford and Mr. McAdowney?
So moved.
Ms. Carson?
Mr. Douglas,
Second.
go ahead and I'll
I'm
second
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, so moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And now can I have a motion to go into executive session? Mr. Teeter?
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to
Bullock.
enter into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses E, for the purpose of instructing negotiations regarding water transactions and potential contracts with the pursuant to CRS 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses E, for the purpose of instructing negotiations regarding the Contour lease agreement.
Okay, I have a motion to go into executive session for both. Do I have a second? Mr. Amador?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, we're going to go into executive session. We're going to be out about 7 o'clock, and we're going to try and knock them both out at the same time so we don't have to do it later.
Let's try this one. Oh, it's on now. Ladies and gentlemen and children, just be a little bit, just a tad more patient. We're just waiting for the council, and they've got serious city business to take care of. So they're worth waiting for. So just please be patient. If you need to use the restrooms, they're right out the door. Thank you.
if, whatever Steve was getting back then, I said, talk to somebody ahead of time and find out what it is. So you know how to pull it. So he talked to Brian, and Brian told him what it was. So nothing should be put on the consent agenda. So, yeah, our public hearing should be put. Second session. If everybody would join me and stand for a minute of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm looking at you guys. Okay, if the staff could please pass the microphone for the audience introduction. We have a lot of kids here. Now, if your kids are too shy to introduce themselves, the parents can introduce them, but I think that most kids know who they are today. Okay.
Deborah Bullock, Commerce City Historical Society.
Reba, Commerce City Historical Society in Adams 14.
Esther Hall, Commerce City Historical Society.
Sheila Harris, Commerce City Historical Society.
Michelle Sheets.
Gerald Sheets.
Stephen Clopine.
Luis Ibarra.
Damian Ibarra. Patrick Sears.
Brooklyn Sears. Mackenzie Lemon.
Kim Dobson.
Jody Dobson.
Mia Aragon. Diana Arvizo. Maylin Flores.
Marina Martinez.
Enrique Flores.
Jamie Cosper.
Rylan Roberts.
Tyson Roberts.
Caleb Roberts.
Blake Cosper.
Tony Howard, Waste Management of Colorado.
Matt Thomason, Public Works. Alex Solano.
Antonio Solano.
Jeanette Solano, Public Works.
Dominic Solano.
Maria DeAndre, Public Works.
Maria Guzman.
Ana Guzman.
Mariana Martinez.
Nestor Martinez.
Estefania Juárez.
Cristina Ruiz.
Enrique Juárez.
Agan
Rob McClellan.
Manny Flores.
Rocio Flores.
Carlos.
Lisette Valenzuela.
Alexa Venezuela.
Michelle Halstead, City of Commerce City.
Sarah Stadler. Bentley Stadler.
Trey Basto. Brianna Monk.
Armando Guardiola, Finance.
Cheryl Karstens, Finance.
Charlie Shufflin, Police Department.
Clint Nichols, Police Department.
Kathy Blakeman, Human Resources.
Moises Soto.
Moises Soto.
Alexander Soto.
Steve Ortega, Public Works.
Uriel Akiva, Public Works.
Gabriel Martinez.
Alaya and Paulo Martinez.
Paul Hebink, Buffalo Run Golf Course.
Carolyn Keith, Parks, Recreation, and Golf.
James Newberry, Public Works.
Maribel Hernandez.
And Marely Torres. Teresa Torres.
Oscar Torres.
Mike Southern. Mike Quint.
Rodrigo Garcia.
Jade Garcia.
Melody Cowan Castela. Delton Castela.
Wilding Castela.
Laura Castelaw.
Malcolm Castello, Finance.
Whole Castella family.
Bryn Trudeau.
Nancy Ogstead.
Elena Torres.
Juan Rodriguez. Kimberly Avalos. Jasmine Avalos.
Blanca Montaño.
William Bulmer.
Dylan Peace Bulmer.
Mindy Bulmer.
Joseph Reedy.
Liz Tatum.
Al Tatum.
Rylan Ray. McKenna Dean.
Douglas Dean.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, we have a full house tonight. Okay, next on our agenda we have proclamations and recognitions. Would invite the members of the Commerce City Historical Society to come forward and recognize the coloring book winners.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Deborah Bullock, 6130 Ivanhoe Street.
I'm Reba Droder, 7505 East 121st Place, Thornton.
Esther Hall, Commerce City, 7200 East 75th Avenue.
Sheila Harris, 6600 East 78th Way.
I'd like to welcome all the parents and children who came out to be honored for our coloring book contest. The Commerce City Historical Society organized a coloring book project to make a local history coloring book. And the purpose was to educate the children in our community at an early age with local history. And from that, we started a coloring contest. And so each year we honor people, the children that have colored the best pictures. And this year we have awards that have been given by the city. Carolyn Keith at the Rec Center had given us coupons for the Pioneer Park outdoor pool, Paradise. So we have some coupons for that. And then we have a 4-person pass to the Recreation Center. And we have McDonald's, who has donated some Happy Meals, and Dairy Queen has donated ice cream cones. And so we have just a mixture of these gifts going to the children. So we would like to call them up and give them their awards. So we'll start with Alsop. Anybody from Alsop, can you come up? Any of the kids? You're the only one? Oh, boy. Well, let me read the names from Alsop, and you tell me who are you? Okay, when I get there, I'll give you your award. Chloe Marie Gonzalez, Adrienne Meza, Alexa Valenzuela. Is that you? Maylene de James Barrios, Michelle, and that is it. Do you want them to come up here?
Yep, we're going to end up, the council's going to come down and take a picture of all the winners.
Okay.
So you just start lining them up.
And the next school is Bell Creek. Anybody from Bell Creek? Can you please come up? Lucy Perkins, Delilah Garcia, Tyson Walker. Tell me if you're one of these people, okay? Abigail Grace Shaw, Trayton Busto, Mackenzie Dean. Are you Mackenzie? Dylan Balmer Peace. Dylan. Anali Esperanza Alderay. Bryn Trudeau. Xander, Veronica Lear, and Jenna Vicia Gonzalez.
Okay, the students from Hanson, come up, please. Is it Vanea Baca? Is that you? Jocelyn Escobedo. Fernanda Estefina Juarez, is that you? And Alexandra Ordonez. Oh, Stephanie. And Eli Rodriguez Jacobs and Marianne Martinez. Then I have Kemp Elementary, the students from Kemp. Leave those out. Montserrat Rodriguez, is that you? Emma Hernandez. Giovanni Ortega. Eric Silva, Aylin Chavez, Elijah Ford, Lauren Kickman, Sergio Castellas, Alexa Arguello, and Kimberly Avalos. Thank you.
You get kind of nervous when you get down the room and she starts singing.
Okay, do I have students from Central Elementary? Come on up. Okay. Do I have a Natalie Ardena? No. Josie Molina? No. Dylan Armendariz? No. Jeremiah Lozano? What?
He's Dylan.
Okay. Okay, you go stand up there. Do I have a Jeremiah Lozano? Dariana Gomez? That's not you? What's your name, honey? Okay, Flores. I didn't see one. Rodrigo Casas? Jermel? What is that? Mosaic? Is that you? Oh. Moises? Moses? Okay. Barrett? I love. Is it you? What's your name?
Yeah.
Is it Philip? Is that you?
Well, he's from Miss Bassett's class, so we know he won.
Okay. It's hyphenated.
You'll
Okay.
all be happy to know that we did have the right name. But we were missing a middle part.
Okay. Here, these are those. Okay, now, can I get the students from Turnberry? Oh, yeah. Okay. Do I have an Antonio Solano? Very good job. How about Avea Montour? Not here? Mackenzie Lemon. Hold on one sec, honey. Mackenzie? How about Brooklyn Spears? Sears. Rylan Roberts. Very good job. And Damien Tabara. Okay, do I have any students from Rose Hill? Hi. Okay, do I have a Maylene Flores Martinez? Very good. How about Jade Garcia Salinas? Mia, is that you? We also have a Jocelyn. She's not here tonight. Good job, guys.
Do we have anybody here from DuPont? I thought not, but it is a very cold, cold night, and we do have a science project going on as well. Yes, and I'd like to thank, on behalf of Adams 14, I'd like to thank the Historical Society. This was a lot of fun. And I'd also like to thank the City Council and the staff for everything that they did to help make this possible. Congratulations, children. Will everybody turn your awards this way so we can all take your pictures? And we'll get out of the way, and maybe City Council will come down and take their pictures with you.
Let's go down to City Council. Okay. You guys work the logistics. Yeah. Okay, sing for her. If you sing, I will do it.
But let me get her a Happy Meal.
It's things like this that just make you love the historical society.
Yeah.
You know what? It doesn't matter. Do their whatever.
I want to thank you, Commerce City Historical Society. This is one of the events where we like to do. Okay, we'll give time for anybody that wants to leave can leave, but then we're going to start the rest of the proclamations. Okay, our next proclamation is the Public Works proclamation. I invite the staff from Public Works, invite the Public Works staff in the audience to come forward and accept the proclamation. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the proclamation?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as streets and bridges, drainage, public buildings, fleet, and solid waste and recycling management, and whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of Public Works staff, and whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated Public Works Department personnel is materially influenced by their attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Commerce City proclaims the week of May 15 through 21st, 2016 as National Public Works Week in Commerce City. Be it further resolved that we call upon all citizens to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions which public works personnel make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Ask for a motion to accept the proclamation. Mr. Teeter?
Make a motion to accept the proclamation as read.
Mr. Amador?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, well, thank you. Do you have anything you would like to say?
Just briefly, Mayor and City Council, thank you for this proclamation and recognizing the Public Works staff yet again this year. So I would like to invite the public to come out on June 16th. We'll have our open house again. We decided to pick a warmer week than last year. And as the proclamation mentions, acquaint themselves with everything that Public Works does. So we're honored to serve the city and its citizens, and very pleased to be here and in support of this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the City Council please join me down while we present this proclamation?
sign.
Our next proclamation is proclamation for Kids to Park Day. I invite the Park, Recreation, and Golf Director Carolyn Keefe forward to accept the proclamation. Mr. Interim City Attorney, would you please read a proclamation?
Proclamation. Whereas May 20th through the 22nd, 2016 is the 6th Kids to Parks Day organized and launched by the National Park Trust. And whereas Kids to Parks Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit America's parks. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat the issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. And whereas Commerce City is home to the nation's largest urban wildlife refuge, which boasts more than 330 animal species, hiking and walking trails, self-guided tours, and breathtaking views of the Front Range. And whereas Commerce City has more than 840 acres of parks and open space residents can enjoy, and will open the final 2 of 3 new neighborhood parks by the end of 2016, thanks to a voter-approved dedicated sales tax increase. And whereas Kids to Parks Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and the outdoors. Now therefore, be it resolved that the City of Commerce City hereby proclaims May 20 through 22, 2016 as Kids to Parks Days and urges residents to make time to take the children in their lives to a neighborhood, state, or national park.
Thank you. I will ask for a motion to accept the proclamation. Mr. Diaz?
Motion to accept the proclamation as read by our city attorney.
Ms. J.D.?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion passes. Ms. Keith, would you have anything to say?
On behalf of the National Park Trust, I appreciate and accept the proclamation in support of Kids to Parks Day, May 20th through the 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If the council would like to join me down front. Okay, our third proclamation is Malcolm's proclamation. Okay, I invite Malcolm and his family forward to accept the proclamation. Come on, family. I see the rest of you sitting there. Oh, okay. Okay, you going to be the film? Okay. You have to stand up to film. Okay. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the proclamation?
Proclamation. Whereas Tax Manager Malcolm Castellaw retires from the City of Commerce City with 28 years of service on May 31, 2016. And whereas during his career, Mr. Castellaw was responsible for educating local businesses on the city's tax code, regulations, and compliance, conducted 400 independent and joint audits that generated over $26 million to maintain sales and use tax revenues. And whereas Mr. Castellaw leveraged his expertise to train new auditors the ins and outs of the profession and was a member of the team that helped design the first local business tax seminar held in 1996. And whereas Mr. Castellaw ably represented the city in professional organizations such as the Colorado Association of Municipal Tax Auditors and the Colorado Municipal League, and whereas Mr. Castellaw believed in serving the community and his peers first, volunteering at many neighborhood outreach events, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Commerce City honors Malcolm Castellaw for his 28 years of dedication to the city and his steadfast commitment to helping build a quality community for a lifetime.
Well, congratulations. Okay. I see that part about May 31st, and I can see that May 31st grin on your face. So is there anything that you would like to say?
I get my glasses out. First off, I want to introduce you all to my wife for 41 years and my favorite nurse at St. Joseph Hospital, Laura Castellaw. It has to be said that without Laura's full support and encouragement over these past 28 years, this wonderful career that I've had at the city would not have been possible. A couple other comments. 29 years ago, I was a resident of and a revenue agent for the city of Aurora. Then 28 years ago, something wonderful happened. Don Wilson, the director of finance at that time, offered me a position as a tax auditor for the city of Commerce City. Little did I know at the time, but he was offering me more than just a job. He was offering me a career of a lifetime. And once I started with the city, there was no turning back, and that was due to the unique challenges and opportunities Commerce City presents to an auditor, and what an experience it has been. Also, 11 years ago this month, Laura and I moved from the city of Aurora to the Reunion area of Commerce City, where we love the neighborhood, our neighbors, and our home. And to my representative, Councilman Diaz, I'd like to say that while I may be retiring from my duties at the city, I'll be no less committed to serving my fellow residents going forward. I have over 34 years of state and local tax experience working directly with the Colorado Municipal League, multiple Colorado municipalities and businesses, and anytime you would like to pick my brain, I would consider it a privilege to work with you. In closing, I would like to thank all of the city councils and fellow city employees that I've worked with these past 28 years. Thanks for the memories. It's been quite a ride. And real quick, my grandson Dilton and my grandson Wilding and my daughter-in-law, where is she with the camera?
Okay. I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the proclamation. Ms. Krista Elliott?
Motion to approve the proclamation is read by interim city attorney.
Mr. Douglas?
No. Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the proclamation. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The proclamation is accepted. I know that you offered Paulo to pick your brain, but if there's any time I need to pick your brain, is that offer available for any of us on council?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. If we'd like to count, okay, just a minute. Ms. Carson?
I just wanted to take this time to thank you for the 28 years of service that you have given this city. Your expertise and loyalty, I mean, just there's no way to thank you for that. And retirement is a big thing. So please enjoy it. We will miss you. I'm sure there's some empty shoes that will need to be filled. But no, thank you so much. And thank you to the family for coming and helping us celebrate this time.
It was my pleasure.
Mr. Teeter?
Yes, I'd also like to thank you for your 28 years. And your wife's going to find out what it's like for you to be around every day. And also, I would like to thank you for choosing to move into Commerce City and be part of this community.
We love it.
Any other councils have comments? Well, would you join me down front, and we're going to take pictures? Okay, our next proclamation is the Buffalo Run Golf Course 20-year anniversary proclamation. I'd like to invite golf manager Mr. Paul Herbig down forward to accept the proclamation. Mr. Interim City Attorney, would you please read the proclamation?
Proclamation. Whereas the City of Commerce City desires to recognize and observe the 20-year anniversary of Buffalo Run Golf Course, and whereas Buffalo Run Golf Course has provided recreation opportunities for community members of all ages, and whereas Buffalo Run Golf Course has become a meeting place for a variety of organizations and groups within the city and a welcoming location to socialize with families and friends, and whereas Buffalo Run Golf Course has played an important role in the growth of Commerce City, both retail and residential, and the positive impact that comes with economic development. And whereas the City of Commerce City will join Buffalo Run Golf Course in celebrating the 20-year anniversary by hosting a free family event on May 21 at the golf course. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Commerce City recognizes Saturday, May 21, 2016, as Buffalo Run's 20th anniversary celebration in the City of Commerce City and encourages all residents to participate and do their part in promoting active living and healthy lifestyles.
Thank you. The proclamation's been read. I'm asked for a motion to accept the proclamation. Mr. Amador?
Move to approve the proclamation as presented.
Mr. Teeter?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to accept the proclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, the proclamation's been accepted.
I'm sorry, could I get that, who made the motion and the second again? I was...
A motion was made by Mr. Amador, and the second was made by Mr. Teeter.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Just briefly wanted to invite the community out to the event at Buffalo Run Golf Course on May 21st, which is this Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm sure for many of you up there, it probably seems like just yesterday that the golf course was being built, and here we are 20 years later. The time definitely goes by quickly. So the event on Saturday, I will tell you, is, I would call it an extravaganza of sorts. We're going to be showcasing the different programs and services offered at Buffalo Run, including those on the restaurant side. We will have an opportunity for anybody that comes out that day to hit free range balls and kind of meet the golf pros and, again, learn about all the different programs and services that are offered at Buffalo Run. I would also like to just briefly say on behalf of the entire staff out at Buffalo Run Golf Course, it is truly an honor to be here this evening and accept this proclamation. We take a lot of pride in Buffalo Run, as I know all of you do as well. And certainly it is because of the support of City Council and in particular the citizens of Commerce City that Buffalo Run Golf Course has enjoyed the success that it has over the last 20 years. So thank you, and hope to see you out on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from council who has any? Mr. Amador.
Thank you, Paul. It was just a memory ago that I grew up here, and to think that we would have a golf course in Commerce City was not even a thought in my mind. And it's been a brief 20 years, and so that's excellent for the city. I would encourage anybody that's listening tonight also to attend the events on the 21st. Thank you.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes, thanks, Paul. Yeah, I remember taking my family over there when you had the 10th anniversary back in 2006. So being 2016, it just seemed like it was yesterday. So I appreciate your hard work and looking forward to being this Saturday as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, if council would like to meet me down front, and it's picture time again.
behind.
Get it?
Okay. Our last proclamation is for the Commerce City Police Week proclamation. This morning they had the Commerce City Peace Officers ceremony this morning at 8 o'clock, and it was a very moving ceremony. And so this last proclamation is going to proclaim Peace Officer Week. I invite any police personnel in the audience to step forward and accept this proclamation. And Mr. Interim City Attorney, would you please read the proclamation?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas Congress and the President of the United States designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week, and whereas the Commerce City Police Department plays an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of our city, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve this Commerce City community with trust, respect, excellence, leadership, and restraint. And whereas the men and women of the Commerce City Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service as they strive to be the standard of excellence for public safety and service in this region. Now therefore, be it resolved that the City Council hereby proclaims the week of May 15th through 21st, 2016 as National Police Week to commemorate past and present law enforcement officers who have rendered a dedicated service to their communities and established an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. Be it further resolved that Commerce City observes May 15, 2016 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community.
Thank you. The proclamation has been read. I will ask for a motion to accept the proclamation. Ms. Carson?
Move to approve proclamation 16-14 declaring May 15th to the 21st as Commerce City Police Week, as read by our interim city attorney.
Mr. Diaz?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Do you have anything you would like to say, sir? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Mayor, City Council, City staff, on behalf of the men and women of the Commerce City Police Department, I want to thank you on their behalf, and I am honored to receive this proclamation on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carson?
For a minute, I thought we were going to get married when you said I do. But no, there is no way. There's no way to express our gratitude for the work that all of you do out there and the amount of time that you put in to keep us all safe. And we just can't thank you enough. So keep yourself safe, and thank you very much.
Mr. Amador?
I would just echo what Ms. Carson said. You're always out there in the community putting your life on the line to protect this community, so thank you. And to everyone on the force.
Okay. And I just want to echo what was said this morning. It is not from the time that they get to work, but it's from the time that they put their feet on the floor in the morning to the time they get back in bed that they are serving us, because that dedication isn't just turned on and turned off. It's all the time. So I want to thank you on behalf of this city council. Thank you. And if city... No. Yes, you may. Ms. Carson?
I want to add another piece that it seems like in the last year or two, I have not passed a police officer without a black band on their badge. That needs to change. Yes. So we will help any way we possibly can to make sure that those black badges come off, and teach our children to honor and respect all the work that you do.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes, appreciate this. moment to just let you know I appreciate that police officers serve and protect our citizens and not look at upholding the law. And I heard that echo throughout the community. I really appreciate you guys' service.
If council would like to join me down front.
Mayor, Pro Tem, and Council, as you're coming down, wanted to make sure you knew who these two gentlemen were. Clint Nichols is an interim deputy chief, and this week, in Lowell Richardson's absence, he is the acting chief of police. So that's why you saw him at the ceremony earlier today. And for those of you that don't know, this is Commander Charlie Scheffler.
Okay. That's it on proclamations. That was a full boat tonight. Okay, next on our agenda is the citizens' communications. For those that are speaking during citizens' communication, please give your name, address for the record, and keep your comments limited to 3 minutes. Thank you. Our first citizens' communication will be Esther Hall.
My name is Esther Hall. My address is 7200 East 75th Avenue here in Commerce City. And I come before our Mayor Pro Tem and the City Council to let you know that 2 years ago, I was at a wonderful Music in the Park, and my family was all there enjoying it. And a police officer came up to my little 4-year-old great niece and brought this little girl a stuffed animal. And it really made an impact on her with this policeman, the fear of somebody in a uniform. And she now has so much respect for the police. And I was very impressed that they would do that and move forward. So last year, Chief Troy Smith, I took and gave them 8 handmade clowns that I make, and I'll show one of them. But they're very safe. They've got a smile on them. When they encounter any child in a compromised situation or to make friends in a park with a child, whatever, I've made these and gave them to the Highway Patrol, the Adams County Sheriff, and the Commerce City Police. So I now have more that I want to do this year. I plan on doing 8 to each entity in our law enforcement. So I just want to let you know I do that. And I think other people should step up and wash the little stuffed animals, whatever, so these police have something to give to a child that might be needing it at one point or another. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Okay, that is the only name I had on citizens communication. I'm going to ask if there's anyone else in the audience that would like to speak that did not get an opportunity to sign up. Come to the podium and give your name and address, and go right ahead.
Thank you. Good evening to the members of the council. My name is Karen Datz. My address is 1345 Laurel Street, Broomfield. And I was simply in the area, so I thought I would stop by tonight and introduce myself. I am a candidate for district attorney in the 17 judicial districts, which serves Adams and Broomfield County. And I'll just simply say that having spent much time in this community, particularly lately, this community has very much to be proud of. So thank you for allowing me to introduce myself to the members as well as the community members in this room.
Thank you. Thank you. Next on our agenda is consent agenda. The consent agenda includes items that are routine, procedural, informative, and self-explanatory and non-controversial. They are presented to the council for a single motion and vote. Any member of council may ask to remove a specific item for further discussion in a separate vote. Tonight, there are 7 items listed under the consent agenda. Does anyone on council wish to remove an item or for further discussion? Okay, you guys better not. Okay. If not, I need a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Mr. Douglas.
So moved.
Mr. Amador.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda. Would the city attorney please read the titles of the consent agenda?
Ordinance 2086, an ordinance amending the 2016 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by the recognition of the Colorado Department of Transportation, CDOT, grant funds in the amount of $691,600 for the support of infrastructure improvements for the North Metro Rail Line at Colorado Boulevard and East 72nd Avenue and the authorization of the expenditure thereof. Resolution 2016-03, resolution approving award of contract for environmental and design services for Tower Road at Pena Boulevard Roadway Improvements Project. Resolution 2016-60, resolution approving application for a grant from the Federal Lands Access Program. Resolution 2016-62, resolution consenting to the inclusion of property in the service area of the DIATC Metropolitan District. Resolution 2016-65, resolution approving intergovernmental agreement with Adams County. Resolution 2016-66, resolution appointing members to designated boards and commissions of Commerce City. Resolution 2016-67, resolution approving grant of easement to Public Service Company of Colorado.
Okay, the consent agenda has been read. We have a motion and a second. Would you please have a roll call vote? Okay, the consent agenda passes with 7 yes and 2 excused. Thank you. Our next item are public hearings. Our first public hearing is CU 110-16. It is my understanding that this item is not ready for a public hearing. I need a motion to continue the conditional use permit of CU 11016 to a date uncertain. Mr. Amador.
Move to continue KCU 110-16.
Ms. Elliott.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, it will be moved to a further date, uncertain as of now, but I'm sure that they will find it. Our next public hearing is Z 92616. I'm going to open the public hearing. The public hearing will proceed as follows. Staff will present, followed by the applicant. The public will then be invited to provide any relevant commentary or testimony. Then the applicant may have an opportunity to provide rebuttal testimony. Council member may ask questions at any time, but are reminded not to discuss or express an opinion on the case during this hearing until the hearing is closed. We welcome public comment and input. To ensure an efficient hearing, all persons are required to observe the following. Each person desiring to speak should have provided their name on a sign-up sheet before the meeting started. If you did not, please see the city clerk. When you're recognized to speak, please approach the podium and state your name. All comments and testimony should be made from the podium after being recognized. No comment or testimony shall be presented from the audience. Comment and testimony are directed to the mayor and city council. Inquiries that require staff response may be referred to the staff by the mayor. We invite the staff to make the presentation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. We have two zoning cases tonight. The first one is case Z926-16. This is one that should be very familiar. It's the applicant is the city, and it's property at 112th and Potomac to rezone it from planned unit development to public to allow for the future recreation center. So just for the sake of clarification for council and for staff and for those watching this as well, the particular property is on the corner of 112th and Potomac. This north-south road here is Potomac. This east-west here is 112th. Highway 2 runs diagonal. And the Turnberry development and Reunion developments are just to the south. The future regional park along the Second Creek floodplain is just to the east. So the aerial of this property does show that it is currently vacant, and it's this kind of this odd configuration right in this area here. The applicant, again, is the city requesting to rezone this to the public zoning designation, which would allow the future recreation center. As you all know, the new public recreation center will be built on this property, part of the 2K citizen approval project. And then some of the items that will be included in this rec center, it's still in design phase, approximately $106,000, with the host of amenities within the facility there listed. So in addition to the actual rezoning and the development of the rec center, there's also going to be infrastructure improvements. Those will include 112th Avenue, Potomac Street, drainage and stormwater, and utility extensions up to this site as well. So a host of activities occurring very soon. This is a concept. This may not be the absolute latest, but this was one that we had for Planning Commission, but again for the public as well, basically showing the rec center with access here off of 112th and Potomac, construction to begin this year, and we'll have future connections to the regional park to the east as well. And then an architectural concept, again, the front entrance, just for the public's knowledge and edification as well. And then this did go to Planning Commission, and their analysis found that the proposed public zone was consistent with the anticipated future uses of the property and is compatible with the future surrounding land uses that will be occurring as well. Obviously, the development is being reviewed for adequate public services and utilities. There is a community need for this rezoning to allow a healthy mix of land uses, and this is in the public interest to approve the rezoning, as the future use of the rec center will benefit citizens of the area. So at this time, staff has not received any phone calls or emails regarding this particular rezoning request. And then on May 3rd, the Planning Commission did hold a public hearing. They did vote unanimously, 5-0, to recommend approval for this particular zone change. And with that, staff is available to answer any questions on this particular rezoning.
Are there any questions from council for staff? Okay. I would ask anyone in the audience who would like to come forward and speak on this matter. Okay. I will close the public hearing. I would like to ask council if they'd like to discuss this issue before taking a vote. Mr. Amador.
Thank you. I just want to commend staff for their efforts in getting this 2K ballot project done, and this is one of the steps that we need to go through as a city to be sure that we open the rec center in the time fulfilled, and so I want to thank the staff for all the work that they put into this. Thank you.
Any other council? Okay, then I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the findings and recommendations of the Planning Commission. Mr. Diaz.
Motion to accept the findings of, sorry, I lost my train of thought. The Planning Commission.
Okay.
It's like PC.
Mr. Teeter.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept the findings and recommendations of the Planning Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Ask for a motion to introduce ordinance Z 926-16 by council as seated. Ms. Carson.
So moved.
Ms. Elliott.
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Would the interim city attorney please read the title?
Ordinance Z-926-16, an ordinance rezoning the property described in Exhibit A attached here to and made a part hereof, located north of East 112th Avenue and east of Potomac Street, PIN 172-306-301-001, Commerce City, Colorado, from PUD to public, and amending the zoning map of the city of Commerce City, Colorado to reflect said rezoning.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. The city attorney is pleased as read. Would you take a roll call vote? Okay, vote passes 7 yes, 2 excused. Thank you. Our next ordinance is Ordinance Z 936-16. We'll open the public hearing. The same procedure will apply to this public hearing. Council may ask questions, but are reminded not to discuss or express an opinion on the case during this hearing until the hearing is closed. I invite the staff forward to make their presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bullock. Members of City Council, good evening. The case before you tonight is case Z-936-16. This is for a property located at 15050 East 104th Avenue. The applicant in this case is Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. They're requesting to change the zoning of the property from PUD, which is currently Aspen Hills, to a straight C2 zoning. As I mentioned, the current zoning is Planned Unit Development, PUD. This particular one is Aspen Hills, and it is Zone PUD Aspen Hills along with the rest of the surrounding area. This particular PUD is allowed for commercial uses. There's also a multifamily component, which is a bit farther to the west of Altura Street. The comprehensive plan identifies this area for commercial uses overall. And in Aspen Hills, there's recently been a surge of development, as I'm sure you've noticed, between the emergency room and Perfect Teeth, and we now have several new recent development plans that have been approved or in the process of being approved, and this is one of them. The site here is located just across the street from the King Supers at Reunion Marketplace. It will be next to a Prestige preschool, and it is across the street from the UC Health emergency room as well. For some of the case history on this property, it was originally zoned as part of the Aspen Hills PUD in 2002. Subsequently, filing 1 of Aspen Hills Commercial was for the First Bank that's on the corner of 104th Avenue and Chambers Road. Filing 2 of Aspen Hills Commercial platted the rest of the commercial property into separate pad sites to develop later, and we currently have the development plan case under review for this project. So the current request before you this evening is to change the zoning from PUD to C2. This is so that the applicant can take advantage of the less restrictive floor area ratio in the C2 zone district, which would not require a minor modification or a variance to be able to approve that. It also allows them to have a monument sign, which is prohibited in the Aspen Hills PUD. Just to clarify there, the Aspen Hills PUD does allow for the overall development to have a monument sign, but not for the individual pad sites. Here's a proposed site plan of what they're looking at. And again, this is still under review, so it's not finalized, but just wanted to show you what we are working on so far. And these are the proposed elevations for the new restaurant. As of today, there's been no comments in opposition to the zone change from any of our referral agencies. And there was one request for additional information from a member of the Aspen Hills Homeowners Association. So the Planning Commission determined that based on the approval criteria for a zone change, they believe it is consistent with the comprehensive plan, which identifies this area for commercial uses going forward, that the proposed restaurant development is compatible with the surrounding commercial uses, and that adequate public services will be provided by the development. The change will allow for the development of a restaurant use, thereby serving the needs of the community, and the surrounding area has been increasingly developed for commercial purposes. Again, as of today, we've received only one request for additional information regarding this case, no indication of opposition or support. And on May 3rd, 2016, the Planning Commission held a public hearing and voted 5-0 to forward this request to City Council with a recommendation for approval. Thank you for your time this evening. The staff will be able to answer any questions that you have, and a representative for the applicant is also present. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone on council have any questions of staff? Mr. Douglas.
Yes, thank you. When you say monument sign, could you explain that?
Absolutely. A monument sign is a low-profile sign that's typically freestanding from the building. The C2 zone district allows them to be no more than 6 feet in height for this particular size of property. Typically, they're built of materials that mimic the exterior facade of the building.
Okay. Do you have an example of that?
I don't have an example of what they're proposing at this time.
Okay. Does the applicant have one? Or can one be made or present to council here in the near future?
For the sign specifically?
Mm-hmm. Just want to say, I mean, I know McDonald's doesn't have one, and you know, you look up and down the street there, it's not traditionally to have one, or it hasn't been one in the past. And going forward, what is that going to look like in that area? That's what I want to know.
If the property is rezoned, the owner would then be entitled to have a monument sign. So if the property is rezoned, we'd be happy to share with you the monument sign that the applicant proposes to install. We can include that in an upcoming city manager update. If an individual monument sign is a concern of council, that would potentially be a basis not to rezone the property.
Right. Just, I mean, the size you said is going to be no higher than, what's the height again?
6 feet.
6 feet. And what's the width of that?
There's not a width requirement, but there is a maximum side per face of 32 square feet.
And as far as the setback on the sidewalk, I mean, is it going to be on near the building, out on the sidewalk area?
The proposed location that they're looking at it's difficult to see, but is this little rectangle that's here on the site plan.
Oh, okay. Where it says the 4DFG 3T?
Yep, near there.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Ms. Carson.
Well, I was just wondering, is there any pictures of what that sign would look at? Is it lit? Is it?
We don't have details of the specific sign at this time. They're still working on developing that since we've just now gotten to this phase of the process with them. It would be allowed to be illuminated per the C2 zone district.
It would be allowed to be illuminated. Yes. And what was the height restriction?
6 feet.
I believe it's 6 feet. Let me double check that for you just so you have it exact.
Do any of the other businesses over there have what we call monument signs?
In Aspen Hills specifically, no. In the Hogan PUD, which is directly to the west, the Taco Bell does have a monument sign currently.
Taco Bell does?
Mm-hmm. The monument sign could be up to 6 feet tall and 32 square feet per side. It has a setback of 10 feet from the property line.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of staff from City Council? Okay, I invite the applicant forward to provide any additional information. Is the applicant present? If you would come forward and give your name and address for the council.
My name is Rob McClellan, 1917 West 15th Street, Apartment F, Loveland, Colorado, and I'm here representing Popeyes. Outside of what was just explained, I do know that, the location of the sign is Based on what the C2 zoning would be allowed, the offset is 10 feet, correct? And that's where we have set it currently. I know commonly what we do have is we try to do a reader board on the sign, so that is something that's usually there. Outside of that, it just says Popeyes on the top, and then is usually going to match the facade. Okay. The building.
Does anyone from council have any questions for the applicant?
Thank you.
Seeing none? Okay, did you have a question or for?
No, just for a motion.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Close the public hearing.
Mayor Bullock, do you want public comment?
Oh, yes. Okay, well. Oh, I would like to ask anyone in the audience if they would like to address council on this matter. Anyone in the audience? Okay, I'll close the public hearing again. Okay, it's been double closed. Now we lock it. Okay. Okay. Ask council if you'd like to discuss this. Anybody want to discuss this? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to accept the finding and recommendations of the Planning Commission. Mr. Amador.
Move to approve the findings of the Planning Commission.
Mr. Teeter.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend the findings and recommendations of the Planning Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to introduce the ordinance 936-16. Ms. Elliott.
So moved.
Ms. Carson. Second. I have a motion and a second. Would the city attorney please read the title?
Ordinance Z-936-16, an ordinance rezoning the property described in Exhibit A attached here to and made a part hereof located at 15050 East 104th Avenue, Commerce City, Colorado from PUD to C2 and amending the zoning map of the city of Commerce City, Colorado to reflect said rezoning.
Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. This is amazing. I don't even remember voting. And did anybody vote? Okay. The lights never came on, so I'm looking.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, it is 7 yes and 2 excuse. The ordinance passes on first reading. Next on the agenda are resolutions. Our first resolution is Resolution 2016-26. I invite Economic Development Michelle Claymore forward to make this presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of council. Good evening. We are here tonight to ask for City Council's approval of a business incentive package for Project True North. Project True North is the code name for a new 200,000 square foot distribution facility proposed for the DIA Tech Center by McLean Food Service. With us tonight representing the project is Mike Southern, General Manager for McLean Food Service, Mike Quint, Project Site Selector with Jackson Cooksey, and Chris Thompson with DIA Tech Center. Michelle Hill, our Senior Economic Development Special, will give a quick overview of the project and the proposed incentive package, and we will all be available for questions afterwards. Just wanted to note that the resolution language that you have in front of you has a minor change from a minor text change from what was posted last Monday. Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of council. As Michelle Claymore mentioned, I'm here before you tonight to ask for incentives for a significant project in our community for the McLean Food Service. McLean Food Service is a national company that distributes paper goods and food for national chain restaurants throughout the United States. They serve more than 20,000 different chain restaurants, including those that you might know like Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC. The company operates 18 regional facilities in 16 different states and is supported by a large fleet of tractors and trailers. Currently, the company is operating in 2 separate leased facilities, and that's why they're considering an opportunity to build their own facility and own it here in Commerce City. The project under consideration would locate at DIA Tech Center, and they're considering an approximate 200,000 square foot industrial warehouse facility with room to grow. Construction may be completed as early as first quarter of 2017, depending on how quickly the company makes a decision to move forward on the project, and then, of course, considering weather conditions. As I mentioned, this is a very significant project for the city. The total estimated capital investment is at $31.5 million. In addition, the company expects that through the first 5 years of operation, their additional operations expenses and other capital investment to support the operations may come to $500,000. One of the more significant aspects of this project is that it will create an approximately 255 jobs in Commerce City, and those are jobs that pay a good livable wage. The majority of those jobs would be created within the first year of operation, with additional growth in jobs in future years. In recognition of the company's significant capital investment and the expected job creation, I'm asking approval for incentives equal to 30% of the sales and use taxes paid on the project, limited to the 3.5% tax basis that's the undedicated tax basis. In addition, a 30% building permit and plan check fee. Both of these would be rebates based off of the actual taxes and fees remitted to the city in conjunction with this project. Based on the numbers to date, the estimated total capital investment is, the estimated incentive package is $245,600, which is equal to less than 1% of the company's total capital investment. In fact, it's only 0.78% of their investment. So in summary, on behalf of the Economic Development Division and McLean Food Service, I'm requesting approval for incentives to support a potential $31.5 million capital investment project in the city that's expected to create 255 jobs paying above county average, so livable wages, in our community. Thank you for your consideration of this request, and I'll address any questions you might have at this time.
Does anyone on council have any questions of Ms. Hill? Mr. Amador.
I just want to thank both Michelle's and Economic Development for going out and finding these businesses that would like to relocate to Commerce City. Also thank McLean for looking at Commerce City for your investment. The request seems as a high dollar amount, but in the grand scheme of things, less than 1% is, in my opinion, probably one of the least things that we can try to incentivize the program. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? I'll ask if anyone in the audience would like to address council on this resolution. I'll ask for a motion to approve Resolution 2016-20. Ms. Elliott?
Motion to approve Resolution 2016-26.
Ms. Diaz?
Second.
Okay. Okay. That was Mr. Teeter that seconded that. Okay. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Would the city attorney please read the title? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Would the city attorney please read the title?
Resolution 2016-26, resolution approving economic development business incentives for McLean Food Service, Inc.
Okay. Thank you. The resolution has been accepted.
Thank you for support of the project. I appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is ordinance on first reading. Our first ordinance is 2099. I will ask if anyone on council has any questions regarding this ordinance. I'll ask if anyone in the audience would like to address council on this ordinance. I would like to ask for an introduction of 2099. Council is seated. Mr. Douglas. Mr. Diaz.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. With the city attorney, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
No. I think we should read the
No,
title first.
you should read the title first,
Yes.
then we'll take the vote. Okay.
Yes. Ordinance 2099, an ordinance amending the 2016 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by the recognition of the E-470 Transportation Safety Foundation grant in the amount of $2,500 for the purchase of emergency barricades and cones and the authorization of the expenditure thereof.
Okay, we have the title read, a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please. Okay, the ordinance passes 7 yes, 2 excuse. Thank you. Our next ordinance is 2102. Is anyone on council have any questions regarding this ordinance? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address council on this ordinance? I'll ask for a motion to introduce ordinance 2102. Mr. Amador.
So move.
Mr. Teeter.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Would the city attorney please read the title?
Ordinance 2102, an ordinance amending Section 2-3005 of the Commerce City Revised Municipal Code to provide additional terms for the Youth Commission.
Okay, the title's been read. Would you please take a roll call vote? Oh, the ordinance passes 7 yes, 2 excuse. Thank you. Next on our agenda is presentations. Our first presentation is the 2015 Garbage and Recycling Program Overview. I invite Public Works Director Maria DeAndrea DeFord to begin the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Uriel Akiva, our program coordinator, is actually going to give a brief introduction to the waste management staff, and then we'll turn it over to them.
Hello, I'm Uriel. This is Anthony Howard.
Hello. Hello.
Ready to go? All right, let's begin. So the program goal of the automated trash and recycling program is to provide trash service to all of the residents of Commerce City and to increase the recycling rate. And to do it in a more efficient manner than the manner that was being done beforehand. The objectives, as you can see, are to minimize the rate of waste generation through education and source reduction, encouraging and facilitating the recovery, reuse, and recycling of material within the waste system, increasing the amount and types of materials recycled, improving education, and expanding recycling participation. Here in Commerce City, winter is kind of our lull months, with summer being our higher waste months, where we have more municipal solid waste collected during the summer than in the winter. each year the pattern remains fairly consistent. As you can see, when we instituted the automated garbage and recycling program last year, our recycling rates went from in the single digits to nearly doubling. Last year's recycling rate was about 14%. Again, it's the same numbers. You can see single digits for recycling in the years before. Last year was a recycling rate of 14%, double from the year before.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council, for having us here today. My name is Tony Howard. I'm the Public Sector Solutions Rep for Waste Management. With me today, I have Lance Allen, who's the Public Sector Solutions Manager over the Four Corners region. So last year was the first year of your new fully automated trash and recycling program. A part of the initial goals for that program was to reduce environmental impact, to save the city money, and to make it more efficient for everyone involved. As part of the ramping up process of the program, last year, along with partnering with Public Works, we sent out mailers, door hangers. We participated in community outreach to raise awareness about the program. As a result, as you can see from 2014 to 2015, participation increased significantly from 7.6% of an annual diversion rate to 13.5%, which is tremendous. Commerce City residents recycled 2,835 tons of aluminum, cardboard, paper, scrap metals, glass, and plastics 1 through 7 in 2015. Most of that recyclable mix included paper and cardboard. It was about 66%. Again, as Mr. Akiva stated, tons of recycling and tons of municipal solid waste peaked in the summer months. By recycling 2,835 tons, Commerce City conserved the following resources, and I'll just go through a few. 10,442,980 kilowatt hours of electricity. To translate that into an everyday scenario, that's enough to power 870 homes for a year. Another one is 44,838 gallons of gasoline. That's enough to drive 1,255,474 miles. 13,077,852 gallons of water. That's enough to meet the freshwater needs of 697,484 people for a year. Going back to the goals I mentioned earlier, shrinking your carbon footprint. So 7,581 tons of residential recycled material was diverted since 2012. That's the equivalent of over 16,890 metric tons of CO2. Also in 2015, we introduced 2 big bellies at 2 of your locations. One was 5902 Holly Street at Pioneer Park, and the other one was 6060 Parkway Drive at the rec center there. You have 2 dual units that has recycling and trash, and they both had the skins that was created by the artwork of some of your youth in Commerce City. Our team strives to deliver quality experience for all of our customers. So just to go through some of the numbers, Waste Management services an average of 14,612 homes each month in Commerce City, with weekly trash every other week recycling, and large pickup. This adds up to approximately 101,000 touch points each month, and a total of 1,212,755 for the year. So to look at the customer service summary, we had about 680 extra carts purchased, 3,070 bulk pickups, 1,376 courtesy pickups, 344 ETAs, which is estimated time of arrival, and about 606 missed pickups. Now let's put the missed pickups into perspective. With servicing 14,612 homes each month in Commerce City, that's less than 0.5% of missed pickups. Your waste management public sector team includes Melissa Colwait, Lance Allen, myself, Dave Brannon, who's your operations manager. I think he's running a little late. He was supposed to be here tonight, but didn't make it in time. Michelle Abamonte, Jennifer Rivera, and Pam Riley. So let me just say that as a team and as an organization, we stand committed to continue to provide exceptional service and to assist Commerce City with reaching your sustainability goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions from council for either one of the participants? Mr. Teeter.
Oh, thanks for the presentation. I really don't have any questions. I'd just like to show my appreciation for the service that you have brought to the residents of Commerce City. I know we are extremely happy with this new trash service, and it shows that the residents also are very much appreciative of it.
Thanks. Mr. Douglas.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I also want to say appreciate the service that Waste Management provided for the city. And then just this past weekend, I participated in the green drive as far as the loose materials, green waste. I heard there's over 100 participants came down and unloaded and all that. I myself took 2 loads down there and was very thankful to participate in that because that's my first time. I've always promoted, but never actually, made it past it, taking my waste down. And I had a lot. And I did this starting in March, so I had a 6x12 trailer. I filled up twice. I probably could have done a third trip, but I think that's a good program, and everyone was clamoring for it. And then I know last year they actually did 2 of them because our extended season, I would say, fall didn't fall when it was supposed to. So I appreciate you guys adding another day for the residents because people look forward to that, and they put it on their calendar. So I want to tell you thank you.
It looks like your third has arrived.
Yes. This is Dave Brannon. He's the operations manager out of Denver North. He handles all the operations for the contract.
Evening. Good evening. Ms. Carson.
Thank you for the presentation. It's always very interesting to see what we do when we recycle. It's very impressive. As Mr. Douglas said, the yard waste, it would be nice if we could get another one of those dates. I know I heard from a lot of residents that because of the recent snowstorm, there was a lot of tree branches that were broken, and I don't think people have had a chance to get up there and take care of those trees and get the branches down. So if there could be another one in a few weeks or a month, it would be very much appreciated, I think.
Okay. Any other council members? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Bullock.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Mooney is running a few minutes behind. Well, actually, you're running much quicker than Aaron Mooney thought we would. She also had a minor family emergency. So she is on her way. What I might suggest is that
I see Aaron right now.
If you'd like to give her a moment to catch her breath, we
Okay.
could move forward and quickly take care of administrative council business and then come back to Aaron.
Okay.
Or do you want to go ahead and
Are you prepared, Aaron, or do you need to take a break? Okay. Our next presentation will be Community Enterprise. I invite Executive Director Erin Mooney forward to make her presentation. Good evening.
Nearly forgot about you, but only because my child is vomiting violently, which is really cute when they're 13.
No, vomit is never cute.
No, it is not. I agree. So nice to see everybody. So I just really want to give you an update about what we have going on and, keep you informed.
Okay.
So a lot is going on at Community Enterprise, which is not going to be Community Enterprise for long. This is one of my favorite sayings, and I live by it. Change is the only constant. My board and my staff are really committed to the belief that nonprofits should be evolving, that we should be learning as we go, improving our work every day, making mistakes, and getting better. So that's kind of intrinsically part of our culture. So, and we have changed a lot as an organization, really because when I got here, I felt like it was my job to look really deeply at what we were doing and making sure that we were being true to our community, our funders, our partners, that we're having the impact that we say we're having and that we really are making a difference. I don't get up every day and because I just want to bring in money and do little with it. Our funders pay us, our partners. I really want to have faith in what we do. And so outcomes and significant impact are really important. So we have really tried to deepen our impact and hone in on things that we think are going to make the most difference for Commerce City and South Adams County and beyond. And so we're really honing our focus in on health equity, so reducing disparities in health outcomes, community leadership development, collective advocacy, helping folks get together and work collaboratively and kindly towards reducing health disparities. And then we've seen a lot of need for technical assistance for other organizations around really engaging community inclusively. I think we all know the Latino community in Adams County has grown significantly in the last 10 or 15 years, and a lot of organizations and agencies are really struggling to respond. How do we authentically include the Latino community and other pockets of community into what we do and make sure that disparities don't persist? So how do we know that schools are authentically serving all families, government, nonprofits, agencies? And so we've tried to incorporate more of that into our work. We've hired 4 part-time community positions, 2 of which that live in Commerce City, and then the third lives just on the it's technically Thornton, but she's in Adams, her kids are in Adams 14 schools. Those positions are called promotoras. They're all smart and sassy Latina women and who are and have been deeply involved in this community. And for me, this ethic of hiring from within the community is really important to me. I, maybe stupidly, keep telling our funders, you should be really careful how you fund nonprofits. I don't live in Commerce City, and I think that's a problem. I take my salary, and I go to Stapleton, and that's a drain on this economy, and it shouldn't be. I really feel like it's my job to make sure that more nonprofit dollars and government dollars stay in the communities that those funders are intending to serve. So for me, honestly, my plan is to replace myself with someone that lives in Adams County within the next couple of years. Not that I don't love it, but just that those are my core values. So these are the things, this is our current work, how I feel like we can have the most impact on community health, community involvement, civic engagement. We focus a lot on leadership training. We partner with an organization in California called Visión y Compromiso. They use a nationally recognized, very respected leadership model that really trains and supports first and second generation Latino community members to get more involved in their community and to collaborate collaboratively. That's really important to me. Not, storm the school and demand, service, but create positive relationships. How can we do this together? This isn't something that we're going to demand that you do for us. This is something that we're invested in. We're giving our time and our kind energy to. Early childhood, I think we all know, is a massive need in South Adams County. There are 40,000 about preschool-age students and only 7,000 licensed daycare spots. So the vast majority of kids are going to get to kindergarten having never set foot in a structured preschool. So we're really focusing on working with those at-home childcare providers and parents so they understand that the impact that they can have on kids by reading, other kindergarten readiness exercises, doing early math, identifying letters on stop signs, just basic things that families and childcare providers can do, and then a lot around setting healthy habits so kids don't start kindergarten already fighting the obesity issue. They start drinking water, eating fruits and vegetables, and then some systemic advocacy around that, not making sure that that partners are investing not just in those kids that have the opportunity to go to licensed daycare centers, but also in the at-home, the more, we call it the FFN, Family, Friends, and Neighbors Network. And then a lot of food systems. Hunger, food insecurity is an issue with a lot of families in Adams County. So we have a gardening curriculum, a lot of collaboration, which we'll talk a little bit more about now, but trying to get the local food pantries together to identify how they together systemically can increase the amount of healthy foods that they have to give away. I don't know if you guys have ever had the chance to volunteer in any of the local food banks, but just like a poor family, food banks, because of limited resources, they're forced to make tough decisions with their limited resources, and guess what's cheap? Crappy food. Am I allowed to say that word here?
Yes.
Okay. So they get a ton of bread, a ton of sugary cereal. They get cakes. You know, King Soopers donates all their cakes and cookies. And the food banks, because they have such limited resources, they really they don't have very many choices. But together as a collaborative, we can get more donations, which we have been doing. We can work with local farms. We can work with Food Bank of the Rockies. And then we're also working on a project to help local produce vendors, so like the small farms, the Palumbo farms. Bridges of Silence has a little produce stand over the summer. We're working with Mile High Flea Market to see if we can get them certified. So those produce stands that are already selling fresh produce grown in our community can accept SNAP. So it has sort of a twofold benefit of increasing the access to fresh fruits and vegetables for low-income families and getting more dollars in the pockets of our local producers. And then we have an adorable community garden that is going to start. Planting day is Friday. Come on down Friday morning. All summer long, every Friday, every day, it's open to the public. People come garden. They take home a share of the produce. And look at these smiling faces. So top left is graduates from our Promotores program. Top right is staff and I. Bottom left is a garden work day. So all of these women came, worked in the garden. Some of them are WIC recipients. We partner with Tri-County Health, WIC, and on Fridays they hold their WIC appointments in our garden. So women that are coming to get their WIC certificates for, they get certificates for beans and peanut butter and juice. They come to the garden to pick up their certificates, and then they're encouraged, but not forced. We no forced labor in our garden. But they're encouraged to garden and show their kids around. We play with the kids. We show the kids how carrots are grown and how raspberries are grown. They take home a share of the produce, too. And on the right is, that's planting day last year. See how much fun it is? And so I wanted to delve deeply into what exactly we did in Commerce City specifically last year, 2015. This is what we did. We trained 25 Spanish-speaking Commerce City residents in the 4-day, 32-hour leadership curriculum with Visión y Compromiso, like I mentioned, with that deep focus on collaboration, communication, and effective and positive advocacy skills. Trained 34 Spanish-speaking at-home unlicensed child care providers who live in Commerce City around healthy eating, active living, early literacy, kindergarten readiness, really hoping to prepare the kids in their care for kindergarten in order to close that achievement gap that we know is such an issue in our schools. Trained 17 Commerce City community members in a 6-week gardening curriculum in Los Valientes Garden. We have an intern who also works at the Grow House, and we've developed a curriculum in collaboration with the Grow House. So we don't just have one community garden, but we're training gardeners so they feel comfortable to garden in either support a school garden in their own yards. Because we know one community garden, while adorable and you get the sweet pictures, it's really not going to impact the food systems in a measurable way. But by training, building the capacity of individual gardeners to go out and support other gardeners, then that ripple effect grows, and we can hope to be able to see that there's a measurable more amount of produce grown. So last year, Los Valientes Garden, between the curriculum and garden work days, we had 77 Commerce City-specific volunteers who took home over 1,000 pounds of produce from the garden. Like I said, we're working with Commerce City food banks to increase donations of healthy food. We've secured weekly donations from a nonprofit in Denver called We Don't Waste. We're working with Mile High Flea Markets to see if we can get them SNAP certified. And then we've also been doing some background work at the state level with partners with Live Well, Food Bank, and Food Bank of the Rockies. There's one issue that happens in our local food system is Food Bank of the Rockies is incredible. They're an incredible nonprofit. They do great work. They get a ton of food to families. But they're a large system, and they really have to, they have a system. So what happens is a lot of times they pick up from a local store in their big truck. It goes to the warehouse. They have to process it. By the time fresh produce has gone through their system, about 80 or 90% of it spoils. So we've been working with them to say, hey, let us, we're not trying to take away, we're not trying to step on your toes, but we can get that produce out to families same day. We can secure volunteers to pick it up from our local King Soopers right here in Commerce City. They can call all the members of the Food Bank Collaborative so they can get it right to the Hope Center, right to Bridges of Silence, right to Henderson Community Church within a couple of hours, and that 80% of produce doesn't spoil. So that hasn't started yet, but we've done the background work and they're ready. We just have to do a little negotiating because right now Food Bank of the Rockies wants us to pick it all up. And we're like, we don't want the cakes. Just let us do the produce. You do what you do and we'll do what we do, and we'll report to you how many pounds we got to families. We don't want the credit. We just want the produce in the mouths of families. And then they can report it to their national funders at Feeding America. They don't lose any donations. We get food to families. We're working hard with the Mile High Flea Markets to get their, first we have to get their produce. They have a whole produce section, get it certified as a farmer's market. That's a federal issue with the USDA. We're doing that advocacy. And then once they're certified as a farmer's market, they can accept SNAP. And do you know that 60,000 people go to Mile High Flea Market every day? It would have a massive impact. It could have a massive impact on produce in the mouths of community members. They're already there. It's not creating something new. It's simply making something that's work a little bit better. We partnered with the city to conduct surveys and facilitate a focus group for the Commerce City Rec Center when Carolyn and her staff were wondering what can we do to better serve families, but realizing that some of the surveying has a difficult time reaching Spanish speakers, and they're such a large part of our community. The city gave us a small contract, and our promotoras, who I mentioned on the first page, got out with all the families that they know, said, what can the rec center do? What are the issues? What are the barriers? How can we get you there more? What programming would be more relevant to you? And we got some really interesting information. It was great. We're facilitating the Latino Engagement Task Force. You guys met them a couple of weeks ago, right? As they stalked your meeting. Which has been so interesting. We're almost at the end. You'll see them around graduation, I hope. Hearing from, it's all women, funny enough, and hearing from them what some of the barriers are and their desires for participation and some of the miscommunication. So how can we make that communication, that outreach from the city to the community and vice versa, smoother and more effective? And then, so we have other meetings across South Adams County around topics like school wellness, the issue of health equity and reducing disparities, transportation and the upcoming light rail stations and how that's going to impact communities, And then just generally building inclusive communities across South Adams County. And we've had about 40 Commerce City community members attend those meetings. We've been working with city staff on the HEAL committee when we partnered and completed a policy scan, and you guys saw at the study session a couple of months ago those recommendations out of that policy scan of how city government and partners can keep driving forward great HEAL policies and really make Commerce City a quality community for a lifetime. So in 2016, we're in our garden, we'll be supporting community members to do some container gardening. So we'll buy containers. They'll be able to come to a few different days over the summer, get plants that we're going to buy mostly from Bridges of Silence, who their students have seeded the seedlings. So Commerce City residents will be able to buy a sweet big container with some tomatoes, some cilantro, some onions, and a little sign that says something to the effect of, we haven't worked on our messaging yet, we'll work on that, but something to the effect of, Commerce City grows our food. And they can keep it on their front porch, it's visible, it's sort of a community statement of, we're using our front yards, we're meeting each other, we're developing community, we're growing healthy food, and then they'll be encouraged, if you don't want to eat it, donate it to your food bank. Here's a list of food banks in the collaboration. So we partnered with CCBPA to hold the Commerce City Election Forum last year, partnered with City CCBPA and Adams 14 to collaborate on Derby Winterfest. I'm sure you've noticed and heard that we're not doing the events that we used to do, and I know that that's been a bone of contention. But the fact of the matter is we as a little nonprofit don't have the capacity to hold large community events, and funders simply won't pay for it. Our funders, the Colorado Health Foundation, the Denver Foundation, they don't believe that a community event has an impact on really changing community, changing the way that people live their lives. It's not leadership, it's not food, it's not a systemic change. And as much as we like events and we're happy to partner, we're happy to collaborate, we need to spend our time and money on programs that we know will change people's lives. So we'll continue to partner on Derby Winterfest, but we probably will not be holding Derby Days. If anyone else wants to, I have all of the information. I'd love to support you. I'd love to see it keep happening. But we just don't have the capacity because we're taking away from funding and work that we know makes a difference. And then we've been continuing the conversation with city staff and the Urban Land Conservancy. I think you guys have met the Urban Land Conservancy, yes? In hopes that they seem to be very genuinely interested in a project in Commerce City, which is great. I hope they were able to tell you about some of their other projects in Denver. Through the work that Jared and I did, their board voted to extend their boundaries and include Commerce City in South Adams County, and they do incredible land banking for community benefit. It could really be catalytic project in one of our neighborhoods to really stimulate some economic growth and some opportunities for whatever the community decides that we need. Is it low-income housing? Is it incubator projects for small businesses? Is it nonprofit space? I don't need to be in it. I don't care what it is. I would just love to see it happen if it's the right thing for the community. So that's what we did in 2015, and then in 2016, we are going to be changing our name. There has been a lot of confusion about what does community enterprise mean? We don't do much with businesses. It's really hard to translate into Spanish. And we want to show community that we're a different organization. We're doing different things. It's for staff and board, it was really important to them that we be a forward-facing organization and not a rear-facing organization, not focus on what we did 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 15 years ago, but what do we want to do? How do we know that we can do great work in Commerce City and beyond moving forward? So after a long and exciting process, we settled on the name Cultivando, which is a lot like the English root cultivate. So cultivando means to grow. or growing actually. And then below it in the logo, oh, I meant to bring the mock-ups. We're close to a new logo. I'll send it. So below the name is the tagline: Leadership, Advocacy, Collaboration. To be clear about what it is we do. Our new mission is cultivating community leadership to advance health equity through advocacy, collaboration, and policy change. And like I said, board and staff really believe that our new name and branding will help limit sort of that confusion. Enterprise, we don't do anything with business. We don't rent cars, and help us look forward. And all of that, what lawyers are working on the paperwork right now, and that new branding, new website, new business cards, new logo will roll out in June. And what our plans are for moving forward, really we've really gotten a great response from our leadership programs, and we're growing that. We're actually, Visión y Compromiso to this point has only worked in California, and we're going to be their first state to really grow their model outside of California. We're having facilitators trained who live in Adams County, so we'll be able to offer the curriculum more and then really support those community leaders more deeply moving forward. We're developing an additional leadership curriculum because, in my mind, you can never have enough leadership. But we saw a need for putting some of the theory into practice, really helping folks like we did with Let and want to keep doing, not just learn, here, you're a leader, go make policy change, but how do you do this? How do you stand at a microphone in front of city council and then afterwards go up and say, Crystal, I'm Aaron, this is my fear, this is my need. Or know who to make those meetings with, know who to collaborate with. So putting into practice some of those leadership skills. We'll have a cohort specific to Commerce City, so 5 to 10 Commerce City residents that will work together to identify some policy changes or some issues that they want to work on, and then you'll see them. We've also really seen the need, and the promotoras are really passionate about early childhood work. We know about the achievement gap when kids start. So we just brought last month another curriculum, an evidence-based curriculum called Abriendo Puertas that was developed with Latino parents and Latino early childhood experts. It's a popular education model, which really means that the people impacted are the ones developing the curriculum, hand in hand with sort of topic experts. So we trained 25 trainers. I think 17 of them live in Adams County. I think about 7 of them live in Commerce City. So they'll be able to, into the future, offer this curriculum to families. And it's really, really lovely. A lot of it is around just understanding the impact, again, that you can have on kids if you're reading, if you're talking to them. We know that kids in low-income households are exposed to a lot less just words. Stressed families, stressed mamas don't talk as much as unstressed mamas because they're in their head, because they're wondering, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to, and it's a natural sort of neurologic thing. You shut down a little bit and you don't speak as much. So kids living in families where the parents are stressed hear fewer words, and when they start kindergarten, their vocabulary is markedly behind. But a great way to work on that is for parents to simply be aware of that phenomenon can help them. They get stressed and they withdraw and they think, oh no, wait, I have to come back, and they pull themselves back and they use and they, and you help parents get skills around, you don't have to talk about philosophy. You don't have to talk about anything deep. You talk about what you're doing. Look, I'm making you a sandwich. Do you want peanut butter or do you want ham? And just that everyday conversation exposes kids and really, really, really impacts the achievement gap. It's easy stuff, but it's important. It's vital stuff. We'll continue with the Commerce City Food Bank Network and hope to expand it. And we're reaching out one by one to all of the produce vendors in Commerce City, in Brighton, and then we'll reach out across. Like I said, the container gardening, I'll let you guys know when that's happening. Come by, get your adorable container. And again, Los Valientes Garden Work Days are every Friday from 9 to 11. We love having people come by. We got a lot of great stuff last year. If you need tomatoes, cilantro, peppers, we have raspberries. It's great. And then planting day is Friday, so come on by. You guys, again, will see our LET graduates, and they're preparing a report for sort of what they've seen are the important things. You guys will get a copy of that, what the Latino Engagement Task Force participants think that the city and they can do to really improve communication and involvement of the Latino community. We're going to continue to hold, we just held one meeting for the Urban Land Conservancy, inviting community members to begin to tell them what they think Commerce City needs in terms of a shared space. We'll continue collaborating with the Hill Committee. We'll continue collaborating with Derby Winterfest. We are most likely going to shutter the office at the end of the growing season. What happens, we're a small nonprofit, we have a tight budget, and we're not in the office a lot because we're out in community so much, and then the office isn't big enough to hold any trainings, so we pay rent on the office, and then we pay rent to a local church or a local school, and that doubling of rent doesn't seem like a great fiscal decision for us. And the office has been broken into a couple of times. I have an all-female staff. They're a little bit scared to be there alone. So starting to look for a space that feels safer and warmer and, doesn't have a dirty massage parlor on one side for women, I think would be ideal. But like I said, we're in community all the time. We'll continue to hold our trainings in Commerce City buildings. And as I said again, our staff will always have Commerce City residents as a part of it and ideally the center of it. I talk real fast. Did you catch all that? Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Any questions from council on anything in the presentation from Aaron? That was a lot in a little bit of time, but I caught it all.
Good.
Okay, well, thank you. Hi. Yes, sir.
I don't have a button I can push, so I just wave.
Oh, I thought you were waving. Okay.
Just a quick comment. It's pretty hard to interact with Erin and her team and not be impressed. We interact with a lot of partners as we deliver service in our community, and none's more impressive than Community Enterprise, soon to be Cultivando. What's most impressive to me about them, they've always been a hard-working organization. What's so impressive to me is how much more effective Community Enterprise is at doing the right what. Effort is not what gets you results. It's certainly important. Doing the right what is the key to bringing about positive change within the community. Every time we partner with Erin and her team on anything, we're more effective. So I know we are grateful for the work that they do on a daily basis and for Erin's leadership. Thank you so much for the work you do for our community.
Thank you, Aaron. I would love to see, and it might be already in place, an exercise component with your training. Bringing the ladies up to the rec center or something and instructing them on the different use of equipment so they get past that fear of going up there and looking like they don't know what they're doing, so they don't show up and everything. Because in the morning, every morning up there, I know some of those ladies up there have to be from your program, because we're getting more and more of a group, but I would love for them to encourage others to get up there and with healthy eating, just healthy activities where all of a sudden they keep the thing going through the families and everything. But if there's anything we can do to assist with that, that's one of the components I would love to see, because I see all the rest of it fitting and all the pieces of the puzzle, but I see this one piece out there that, and I know a lot of people have this fear of, if I'm not doing it right, I don't want to stand out. So if at any time they want to come up and they ever see me up there, they can always ask for instruction on anything. And even if I don't speak Spanish, I know that there's 10 guys up there that can translate, or 3 or 4 women that can translate for me, where we can make sure that they're comfortable in any piece of equipment up in the rec center.
That's a great idea. It's true. It's that fear of just not knowing how to do it keeps a lot of women out of the gym.
Right.
I'm hoping to bring a curriculum that's a lot like Zumba, but it's called Bailoterapia, which is dance therapy. It's Zumba and mental health stress relief. And at that point, we talk with the rec center about hosting those classes there. And when women get in there, you know, when they go for Zumba or go for the pool and just get a little bit more comfortable, and then have staff or, you know, a friendly community member that's like, I'll show you how to do it. That's really, you're right. That's a great idea. And I'll start asking staff their ideas around getting people more comfortable in the rec center. That was some interesting information that came out of the survey. Some of the barriers that keep some of the Latino families out of, you know, feeling like, oh, that place is not for me. And so helping folks to understand it is for you. It's our community rec center. This is your community. Let's get you there. Let's get your kids there. Let's get the mamas there, power walking, whatever it is. Yeah.
And we doing the mental health training, and we do the class in Spanish. And I know there are 2 classes coming up in June for the youth module and the adult module. But if any time they want to have the Spanish module, it's an 8-hour class, and it's free to Adams County residents.
Yeah.
And so,
you're talking about the mental health first aid that the Rotary is sponsoring?
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Yeah, I think that another Spanish class would be good. They offered it last year,
right,
and there were some barriers to registering. No one doing the registration spoke Spanish.
We will get somebody there this time, because we definitely want to make that outreach and make sure that they don't. We want everybody to be able to take that class for free, and then if it's overwhelmingly that good for them, we will provide other classes, because we will have the instructors that can do the bilingual classes.
That would be great. Yeah, it's a big issue. The stress that families with the issues of poverty, issues of documentation status.
Just issues. You could just
issues,
leave
yeah.
the word
We all got
of
issues.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Erin? Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
you for coming. Okay. Next on our agenda is Administrative Council business. We have 2 items I know of. Mr. McBroom will be first, and then Mr. Diaz will be second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. On May 5th, Mayor Pro Tem Bullock and Mayor Ford, as you know, met with a couple of representatives of the Fire District Board of Directors. One of the outcomes of that meeting was a desire on both sides to initiate a fire commission. City Council has talked about it in the past. But the mayor and the Mayor Pro Tem had a chance to visit with the fire board members about it, and they seem very interested. So an initial step is for City Council to appoint 2 council members to serve. The Fire District Board will appoint 2 members. They will meet, firm up sort of a mission statement and a purpose and a meeting schedule. So if council is willing, we would be most grateful if you would select 2 council members and appoint them to serve on the brand new fire commission.
Okay. Do I have anybody on council that would like to be members of this fire commission? Mr. Teeter. Ms. Carson. Okay. Those are the 2 that I was, I coerced into it. Okay. But thank you so much. Anybody else want to be on it? Okay. We've got two representatives for the Fire Commission, and both of them are, strangely enough, well-versed in fires. They're both
motion would-
arsonists.
If council's willing, a motion would be
Okay,
most
I
helpful.
need a motion from council to accept the two. Mr. Amador?
Move to appoint Councilman Teeter and Councilwoman Carson sorry, for the Fire Commission.
Okay. Ms. Elliott?
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. I feel so good that you did that because it happened to me earlier. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. We have our two appointees to the Fire Commission. Mr. Diaz, you have your other administrative council business.
Yes, so about a week or two ago, Renee and I, we were at Leadership Commerce City, and we spoke to Angela Hobbin from the Metro North Chamber of Commerce. And one of the things that Angela did point out to us was that one of the things that the Metro North Chamber has looked into working on is appointing liaisons from each of the 13 municipalities that they represent. And the purpose of this, this is one of the priorities of the Chamber's Board of Directors, so this is something that they've definitely been thinking about and working on. And really the purpose is it's a means to keep the communication, collaborations, and partnerships to the benefit of the North Metro region, and for the Chamber to be able to support the cities in their priorities. I know specifically that the Metro North Chamber has put a little bit more of an emphasis and focus into reaching out into the Commerce City area. Particularly, I know their membership director has spent a lot of time really talking to a lot of the businesses in this area, as well as now we found out, Brian, that the Leads Group will be meeting at Buffalo Run twice a month, which will be great exposure. They have like 13 to 15 members who will be meeting there every other week, as it turns out. So I know that this is an area of focus for them. They already have some municipalities and liaisons appointed to that, and so they would like some representation from Commerce City. And if I'm being maybe so bold, I would like to request that I would be one of those people, just based on my involvements currently with the Metro North Chamber through their Leadership Advisory Board as well as their ambassadors group. And I think it would behoove us to, just be a good idea for us to really have one more appointee, because some of the municipalities do have a couple representatives.
Okay, would anyone else on council like to be a representative for the Metro North? Mr. Douglas, your light's lit up.
No, it's not for that.
Okay.
I'm too busy.
Okay.
Is that an alternate position, or is that two members in total?
It would be like...
I think it would be up to us, honestly.
Yes, it could be an alternate when Paulo can't, or it could be two that actually represent. It's up to you guys how you would structure it between the two of you. But I would think anything that's going to benefit the city and work within your time schedule is good for us.
As I'm looking at this right now, if I can interrupt real quick.
Go ahead.
Is Broomfield, Federal Heights, North Glen, Thornton, and Westminster each have 2 council members.
Okay. Mr. Amador looks like he's volunteering. That's
I
a
can go
volunteer
solo. I'm
list.
totally fine going solo.
Yeah. We would never be able to tell which ones were there because they're twins. Okay.
That was the intent.
Okay, no, that's not a joke I want to ever make because I was called a twin one time, and you'd never guess who the twin was. Would you like to do that, Mr. Amador?
I think my wife will kill me if I volunteer for another thing.
We won't tell her.
We won't tell her.
She doesn't watch this, does she?
I'm going to have to decline, I think.
I was going to say, it might make more sense to just have one right now. I'm good with that. They actually haven't decided yet, but they're looking at on a once-a-month basis.
No, I was looking. Steve did that to me. Steve, were you volunteering?
Be alternate.
Okay.
To Crystal's.
Oh, I was just going to point out that it has not been decided yet. Their goal is to not take up a lot of the council members' times. But I think she's looking at once a month. Still undetermined in terms of what time.
Steve, you would like to be the alternate?
Yeah, if Crystal's the second.
Krista, would you like to be the alternate?
Crystal just started a new job.
Okay.
Sure. Steve would like to be alternate.
Okay. Steve said he would like to be the alternate, but we can have an alternate, you know, I mean, because I'm going to guarantee you there's going to be times when we'll probably be out of the city or something, and the alternate will be helping, but...
Okay, so then I propose that, obviously, Councilmember Diaz he's appointed, but until further research is done as far as what days they would meet, meeting times, Councilmember Douglas and myself can discuss. Maybe we could be 2 and 1 alternates, who knows, but just so we at least have double representation from our city.
Okay. Is that okay with the rest of council? Okay. Can I get a motion? Mr. Teeter?
I believe Crystal just made that motion, and I'll second it.
Okay. Okay. The motion has been motioned and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Mr. Douglas, you have some administrative council business?
Yes, I do. I have a few things here. Some people were asking about the pet cemetery. I guess there's a lot of weeds that have taken over that area. If we could get neighborhood services and take a look to see if they can get that under control. A lady went over there because she has a pet over there, and she was just in tears because it's not being taken care of. Again, as traveling down 104th to Highway 2 southbound, I know we have peak time and off-peak time for traffic signals to turn. That yet has been changed as far as the sequence. It's the same short time when you're heading southbound. Number of cars coming that way around, I'd say, between 4:30 and 6. If we can lengthen that time turning left to go southbound at 104th and Highway 85. And also those businesses that are on the east side, they're still coming across that traffic. And if we can have an update sometime this month as where those talks are as far as those businesses being right in, right out, or where the discussion is.
Let me back up for a moment.
Okay.
104th and Highway 2.
Right.
I know we provided a couple of updates about the left turn arrows. It does adjust based on the volume of traffic.
Okay.
Our analysis suggests that further adjustments aren't necessary. Is your concern that the green time late in the day still is not sufficient for westbound 104th to southbound Highway 2?
Yeah, it's still just a short time. I mean, you have cars that sit there and they, getting ready to turn. Yeah, a lot of people are running the red light just to, be in the intersection, which is very dangerous because the amount of cars that go north and south on Highway 85.
Are you also mentioning as a separate issue 104th and Highway 85?
Mm-hmm.
We can check with CDOT on that. I believe CDOT controls the timing of those signals. The city doesn't have any direct jurisdiction. The third issue you raised is the businesses on the east side of Highway 2 south of 104th?
South of 104th, yes.
City Council did previously provide direction that will be implemented as part of the widening of Highway 2. No changes to those turning movements will occur until the roads widen.
Okay, no, not a problem. And then as you come down Highway 85 to Quebec, that's, of course, a busy intersection, and that signal as well. Is that a load turning intersection where if number of cars load up, the times change? If not, there's only a few cars there as well that go through. We have a lot of semis that come through there. And with the amount of traffic that's going north at that time, it's really hard for these cars to turn south, to turn south, going left, coming down to the Civic Center. Just the amount of traffic that's going north does not allow the cars to turn, on the light, except for a couple cars.
When?
You said
I'm sorry, Highway 2.
Highway 2.
In Quebec, yes.
Highway
I
2
said
in
Highway
Quebec.
85.
Oh, okay, Highway 2.
Highway 2, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Southbound
Southbound, yes.
in the evening rush hour?
Between same time between like 4:30 to 6. Yes, and I meant Highway 2, not Highway 85 on the 104th and Highway 2. Yes.
We can give you an update on how the timing is set at those signals. Without looking at it, my assumption would be the priority is given for northbound traffic because the volume of northbound traffic is so
Right.
much
There's a lot of
greater.
traffic, but the cars that are waiting to turn southbound and pull back and Highway 2, as commuters, it's a long lane as far as that load lane, and it loads up, but you're only allowing 3 or 4 cars to cycle through each turn.
I've not noticed that personally, even though I go through that intersection quite often, but we can absolutely check it out.
Okay. And then 2 more. 104th and Landmark, we have 2 lanes of turning when you're going westbound, but when you go eastbound, there's 2 turn lanes, but we're only using 1 lane to turn left to go to Landmark to the north. What happens is when those cars sit at the intersection, the outer lane blocks the view of oncoming cars that are going west because the inner lane that is facing east, you have the outer lane on the opposite side blocking the view of traffic. So I think until the neighborhood or warrants to use 2 lanes there, that we just use the inner lane so cars line up directly in front of each other when they're turning. That allows the traffic that's coming eastbound to be in view when they turn left.
If I understand the concern, it's the 2 lanes westbound 104th to southbound Landmark create a site visibility limitation. There would be traffic engineering design standards that would govern that we can absolutely check.
All right. And the other thing is, on that corner there also, when you leave in that intersection, going south at the corner of Landmark and 104th. The reason why I bring this up because there's a large section of concrete that is separated from the sidewalk. That is not in the lane. I mean, it's has fallen away from the curb, but I could see that being continue to be a hazard. And as well as you turn in an intersection, I think because of the snowstorm we had, maybe there was an impact by a snow blade or something. So visibly you can see those, and I can send you pictures so exactly know where that's at. So, but that's my council administration. Thanks.
Okay, nobody else. Okay, Mr. Amador.
I would just have to second what Councilman Douglas had to say about Highway 2 and the 104th and the left turn lane to be able to come to the core city. The timing of that light is extremely short, and so I took the opportunity to sit through court, and there was a trucker who came through the intersection and pleaded with the judge about how by the time he got his truck in gear and he started going through the intersection, that the light was already red and he still got a ticket. And the judge clearly saw me in the background, and so he did make it a point to say that there were some discussions that were happening with CDOT, but I'd like to see if we could try to expedite that a little bit, especially when we have a trucker who that's his livelihood and he's getting tickets because the light is too short. And so I just wanted to second what Councilman Douglas had to say on that. And then the second part was Councilman Diaz here and I were sitting at 60th and Prairie View right at Quebec, and the light, the arrow would not turn green, and so there was a policeman behind Councilman Diaz, and he didn't know what to do, so he turned off to the right and then was able to go. But maybe we could just take a look at that. I'm not sure if that was moisture in the light or what was going on, but the light was not working.
We did provide that feedback to Ms. DeAndrea before the meeting started, so thank you for passing that along. Back to your first comment, are you again talking about 104th and Highway 2?
Yes, that's where
Okay.
this particular ticket was at. It's a short yellow light, apparently, and I don't drive it every day, so I don't know, but that was one of the general comments that I took from sitting in court.
I'm not sure what the judge is referring to. We'll have to check, because that entire intersection is under the city's jurisdiction.
Okay, next, not you, Steve. Ms. Elliott?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. A few things along the King Supers over at the Parkway Market Center. I noticed there were several, I didn't see a lot of people, but there were several blankets that were hanging on that little area where it's a fenced-in area. I can't think of the name that I'm trying to describe, almost like a retention area. It would be located on the back side of the parking lot, so it would be facing Highway 85. Different times over the last, I would say probably 3 to 4 days, I've noticed some activity, so maybe we can have that checked out. And then also, even driving here tonight, and this was probably like the third or fourth time I've noticed this within the last few weeks, people are heading south on Highway 85, just as you approach the most famous intersection of the city, but a lot of people will take those, make a U-turn right in between the where the median is, where the concrete planters, I don't know how to explain it, but there's some areas of dirt. I know, Troy, you know what I'm referring to. But tonight, as I was driving here, 2 cars within seconds of each other, cutting through, making a quick U-turn just to not have to go to the light. So I wasn't sure if that's something that we could look into moving forward to maybe extend those planters to kind of create more of a barrier where no one can actually turn there. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, that's administrative council business. I see Steve keeps raising his finger. Wave back at you. Okay. Steve?
I just want another thing here. On the corner of, make it get this right, Highway 2 and 104th, there's a commercial corner there, and the backside street is Peoria Street, which, they're dumping off materials and all that. There are cars that park over at the RTD park and ride, and what they're doing is they're taking that dirt road down to the corner. They're actually crossing that corner lot, and then they're going across Highway 2, turning southbound. And, I don't know if we could if they could put a temporary fence or something there, but I've been noticing vehicles do that, get down that corner. They're not turning right to go up 104th. They're actually going across Highway 2. And so I was going to take the opportunity, because that light I was turning left allowed me to view that, but I wasn't aware to take a picture about that. But I've seen that several times, and not the first time. I've seen it at least 4 times. But this occurs right there in the corner. So, thanks.
Okay. Next, we'll go to reports. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. We did distribute via Lisa Gallegos this week's edition of the City Manager Report. We have several updates. An update on the pavement maintenance work on 104th Avenue. There will be a temporary closure of Dahlia Street at 58th Avenue by Xcel Energy. An ash borer beetle update. An update that some of you were aware that a resident of Commerce City called the Tom Martino radio show with a complaint about city staff. So we have an update on how we were able to work through that issue. And then we have the monthly capital improvement program update, the legislative report, which is wrapping up, and a look ahead to the city council work schedule. Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to note that the city was named in 3 judicial foreclosure actions filed, or the city and then the NIGAD in 3 judicial foreclosure actions where the city had a recorded item that's affected by it. So not major lawsuits, but we'll be responding to those. And I'll send a confidential communication in the next 2 weeks on a couple Department of Revenue appeals that the city's party to.
Okay, thank you. Anybody from council have any reports? Okay, seeing no further business for this council, we are adjourned. No, I won because our bet was 10 o'clock. But I told you guys 9:30 because I knew you